And so those other kids, bro, their fathers are not there. And we wonder why crime is the way it is in communities. When fathers are not present, bro, when they're not present, crime increases, poverty increases,
Right.
emotional instability increases. What up, man?
What's up, man? What's
What
good
up,
with
brother? Welcome
back.
to another new edition, right? This
Is it
week
new edition?
episode, yeah, because we talk about something different. The
Yeah.
Father's Heart podcast, man, with Shon and my brother Cole. What's good with you, man?
What's good, man? So look, I got a question for you. You know what I'm saying? Look, what?
I already know. I already know you on one. I already know you on one. So what's good?
I was just, man, you know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, man, how's your heart?
How's my heart?
How's your heart, man? We talking about the podcast, talking about the Father's heart. I just wanted to check in on your heart.
I gotta watch you, but my heart is pretty good. You know what I mean? My heart is good. I've been exercising. You know what I mean? So it's good.
Yeah, you want to tell the audience a little bit about this exercising you got going on? You want to tell them a little bit about what you know, how you keep in shape? You know what you're using? What kind of you got any products?
Listen, I got a visitor. I got a little bug in here. I don't know how he got into my spot, but yo, and he big too. So if y'all see something, I ain't gonna freak out. But I'm just saying, listen. But yeah, I've been working out consistently, man. I've been getting it in, brother.
Okay,
I've been getting it in.
That's important. You know, we talk a great deal about mental health or physical health, actually. But I think the combination of mental health and physical health for men of our stature is really important. You notice
Yes,
I
sir.
said,
Yeah, our stature. Listen, man, fall back. But listen, man, I don't want to belabor this, man, because I gotta get some rest. I'm heading to Jersey tonight, and I promised my wife that I get me some rest before I get on this road.
Okay.
And
let's do that. I want to support
this has been this topic of this video that surfaced. The crazy thing, you live under a rock. So you haven't even seen the video. So I'm about to show this video. You've never seen it. So we are going to see your reaction for the very first time. And I want to wax deep in this. All right. So, let's see what's popping.
Here we go.
Look, y'all. Every fucking day, my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's though? Like that's bogus as hell. Like you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got one thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose the shit out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just one burger? One burger, one fry?
What he like? What do you mean?
Okay, what about my other kids?
What about your other kids?
Okay, but them your kids' siblings, though.
What are you talking about? What are you mad
about? Them your kids' siblings, though.
So what you?
My other kids finna be left out.
You didn't feed them?
You know I don't give my food stamps to the 7.
Lisa, how is that my problem?
But if you're trying to help out, though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help him. I'm trying to help my son.
How are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings?
Lisa,
them are his siblings,
Lisa,
though. He's not finna eat in front of all his other siblings, and they're not eating on McDonald's. Why do I gotta put?
Bring him out to the car. I'll let him.
No. He's not finna eat that shit at all if you can't bring enough for everybody.
Lisa, so you telling me that I bring my son food? I gotta bring your kids food too now?
Yes.
You sound dumb.
How is that dumb? You sound dumb. You sound dumb.
Where are their daddies at? Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. Them your responsibility. They're not my responsibility.
Okay, but if you're gonna bring one, you need to bring it for all. How do that shit look that I'm letting one child eat McDonald's and all the rest of the kids can't eat no fucking McDonald's? So you know I get food stamps on the 11th.
That ain't 3 kids that ain't mine. 3 kids that ain't mine. What
yeah, like? They're his siblings. You knew what you was getting into when you had a baby with me.
No, the I didn't.
Yes, you did.
You expect me to take care of all the kids? They're not my kids.
Okay, but you still had a baby with me who have kids with other people. I still have other kids.
Why are you recording me?
Because I'm exposing. Everybody think you such a motherfucking good daddy.
I'm a good daddy.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're full of shit in this bullshit. You only come here with one piece of food for one child.
The child that's mine, silly.
No, that's dumb that you can't feed the other kids. Don't feed nobody at all then. He can't take that shit. He can't eat it.
Maybe if you had 1 or 2, I can maybe. You got, it's 3 extra kids. What the you all like going to my motherfucking account, spending money on all those kids. Them not my kids.
Them are your kids' siblings, though. Dumb.
So that's what you gonna go with? That's the one you gonna
Those are your fucking kids' siblings.
They my so that means
yeah.
I take care of them.
So don't. No, I didn't say you have to take care of them. You can bring them something to eat if you.
All right.
Oh man, my face though.
I'm gonna stop right there.
So this is what this. So Shon, this went viral.
Yep.
So I heard a little bit about this at my barbershop. So I knew it got real when it hits your local barbershop. You know, you know it's real. So
there's a lot to unpack here, right? So you never seen this. This is your first time seeing it, right? And I watched it over and over and over again to process this. And by working with fathers, my first initial reaction is like, yo, my man, listen to all of this. He's taking care of his business. He's taking care of his son, it appears. And so I do have a different approach. I do have a different take on this.
Okay.
Right. And so I want to hear your take first, and then I'm going to give you my take on it, honestly. You know what I mean? So what is you seeing? What is your take?
One, we clearly know there's some co-parenting issues, right?
Yep.
So man, Shon, why you put me on Front Street like this,
right, bro? So a lot of people, this is the thing. A lot of people, a lot of people, and I had guys who's been in the program, in my fatherhood program, right, tagging me like, "Yo, look at this ish," right? And so I'm looking at it, and an issue, right? You see like this angry baby mama, right? And you like, yo, that's not his responsibility to take care of those other kids and all that. I totally agree with that. And so we can dissect this even more, but this is the thing, is that it is not his responsibility to take care of those other kids. But my man, if he know that there's 3 other children there, he has to consider the other children. I'm not saying he has to bring the other children food. I'm looking through the eyes of the children where they're saying like, listen, my father is not here. They don't care. These are children, right? So they're not involved in this adult business. They're not involved in this adult business. So the children from their lens, they're just like, yo, my father keep coming through with all of this food, buying him stuff. My dad is not there. So now, number one, they're going to grow up having father issues.
Right.
So it's not my man's fault, bro. He's doing a great job at what he does, but I think he still has a responsibility from the standpoint, is it a good idea for me to bring this food continuously in front of my child's siblings if I'm not going to provide for them?
Yeah. I don't think it's his responsibility to do that, but I do think it's his responsibility, very similar to what you said. It is his responsibility to be considerate.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying to be considerate.
Yeah, I think consideration is important and necessary, especially when we think of the landscape of fathers, right? I don't think it is his responsibility, but I do think that he has to consider, is this the best time? And if I do bring this, how might this impact the rest of the family, the kids? But I think you hit it on the nail too, man. If, again, we go back to how are we thinking about kids when children show up in spaces, and we're not always thinking about all of the kids. And this really makes me think about my experience with my own son when he was quite young, and his mom had two other children, and they were quite young, and I wanted them to spend time with each other, and so I would go and pick the other kids up, and they would stay and spend the weekend sometimes with us, just because I was raising him, that I wanted him to have access to his siblings. So I think that you do have to be considerate. I don't think it's fair to place the responsibility of feeding the rest of the children on this one particular dad. But I do think that him and mom have to talk about, okay, if I do bring a special meal, how might we be able to do that collectively where all the kids could have some? So that's a sticky. I hear
it's very right. So he said she's bitter, but the fact of the matter is if you saw those three children, just feed them. And as the mother said earlier, you only bring stuff. Let me bring this back. You only bring stuff when you want to sleep with me. Girl, know your word. Focus on yourself and children.
Wait, that was in there too. I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear that part.
Well, okay, so that's a whole nother topic. But I have to be. I feel like I got to be careful. We got to be careful too sometimes when we label women and then we label them with bitter, bitter. Because it sounded like she really was concerned about all the children not having the same meal in terms of this special meal, right? I don't know if it's bitterness or she just seemed real like, damn it, you're not gonna treat all the kids individualized. So she seemed more concerned than bitter, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. Again, right? So the lens that I'm talking about, I'm looking at it from a couple lens, right, of responsibility. I just say as a man and as a father, I need to be considerate of the situation, right?
Yeah.
It's not his responsibility to take care of all those other kids. They're not his. My thing is, I need to be considerate. That's the thing we talking about responsible fatherhood. We talking about men stepping up to the plate. I have a responsibility. Just because I can doesn't mean I should.
Right. And it sounded like they seemed, before the whole food incident, it sounded like at least they communicated. He brings over food, so
he brings food,
other stuff over. But it sounded like he didn't go in. He wasn't like hostile when he saw her. Like they both went rah rah rah. But it makes me sound. It appears that they could have maybe talked about it. So I don't know if he's bringing these McDonald's every day on a special day. Does he just pop in without anybody knowing and drops off the son food? Does the son call him? I mean, there's so many other elements to the story that we don't know. That again, how do parents make sure that they show up for each other where they can both communicate effectively about how, if we're going to do McDonald's, how do we make sure we do this where it feels fair? It just seems like that's something people could work through.
Yeah, they should be able to, right? But this is real life stuff. This is why we are in this space and the stuff that we do, right? Like we are in this space. I hear stories like this all the time, bruh. I mean, all the time. Like this is just one that just went viral. I hear stories like this all the time where relationships are cantankerous and the children. That's who I'm concerned about, right? Because at the end of the day, who suffers, bro, is the children, right? And so I can celebrate my man for it look like that he's taking care of his business, that he's that dude, the whole night. So I need to celebrate him from that standpoint. But I do also have a concern with her on how she is like, I'm going to expose you. Like, first of all, my man is taking care of his own child. He's taking care of his child. You said that he take care of his child. So you can't expose him like he's some deadbeat or he's horrible because he's taking care of his child. That's his responsibility.
But you can, right? On the flip of that, you can if you're operating out of that thinking process, right? Because she's operating out of a process of thinking that makes her feel like the protect all her children. So I'm gonna expose this dad who is showing up for one but not doing for the all. So it's a warped way of thinking for sure. Yeah. But I do think, again, she's in her mind, that's what she thinks. I'm gonna protect all my kids, so I'm about to expose him. But again, I think we were in a training where we talked about the phone.
This thing, man, I feel like crying, bro. No, like, for real. I feel like crying because those other kids back there, bro. They heard them out there arguing.
Yeah.
And so those other kids, bro, their fathers are not there. And we wonder why crime is the way it is in communities. When fathers are not present, bro, when they're not present, crime increases, poverty increases.
Right.
Emotional instability increases. I don't know. I'm on one, bro. I'm pissed. I'm hurt. I'm angry. I feel bad.
And it's all those things, right? And I think, again, when we don't have the full narrative, and that I was going to go back to us when we were doing the training, and we talked about the phone being a tool, and then someone saying, well, no, the phone actually can be weaponized and used against people in a very harmful way in terms of how we paint the narrative about how people might show up. So we only got a certain glimpse. And to be honest, man, we don't know in its totality if all of the fathers are not present and not showing up, right? We don't really know the full scope of the story. We only have that captured piece. And I think that's the other part that I think you and I talk a great deal about, is being careful about how we show up when information is displayed. Are we reactionary, or are we really taking some time to really understand the full story and the narrative? And I think that we have to be careful of not reacting to these narratives without, of course, having the full story, because you often talk a great deal about the other side of the story, right?
Yeah.
So there are a couple of dads that weren't in that video that we don't know what their narrative was and what the barriers are that got in the way that may have prevented them being present or being able to show up and provide like the other dad. But I think all in all, this is a story that really reflects what we're seeing across the board in our work as it relates to service and families, that there are these twisted conflicts that really get in the way of making sure children get the best parts of each of the parents, especially when the parents aren't together. So I think the work has to be done, but you're absolutely right, man. Those kids heard that arguing, and I mean, they don't know the damage that they've actually caused to all of the kids. I mean, I know kids that talk a great deal about, my dad never showed up, but my brother's dad came. And my brother's dad came and picked him up and took him out of the house, and he never came back. And my dad's never showed up. And the jealousy that formed in those relationships, because one kid felt that kid was treated more special than the other one. So adults have to do better. Period.
Yeah, Megan makes a really good point here, man. She says, and I'll bring it back if it goes away on us. But she said, I think it leads to a broader conversation. Does he stop doing for his son? Bring it back. Does he stop doing for his son because he has to do for all? Does it lead to a conversation on sports involvement, extracurricular programs, etc.? She had an issue with the son getting something more than the others. The expectation of the mother can lead to the father taking a step back because he got exposed for simply being there. Megan, absolutely. And that's what I'm talking about. Like that's another part of it, right? Because when we look at a lot of fathers that come through some of my programs, right, is that the father is like, yo, you are putting me through the ringer of getting access to my child. It's easier for me just to wait till they turn 18 to have this relationship, and I just pay child support, right? I just pay the child support. I don't need to see him, because every time I come around and try to establish a relationship with you, it's always an issue because I moved on. And Megan, what you're saying is so true in so many ways. I hope he doesn't do that, but I've heard many men out of my ears, many men that said that that's what they're going to do, and we got to talk them off the ledge.
So this also makes me think too, Shon, man, and you and I have been talking a great deal about this, is that when we talk about fatherhood work, it isn't just okay to just be working with fathers about the importance of their role. There really needs to be a shift in the parenting programs and organizations that really spend a great deal educating and empowering mothers to really have a better understanding of what a father is, what a father does, how men show up in a healthy way. Because I got a big feeling from all the work that we've been doing that we're working closely with dads and organizations to support fathers. But man, mothers need this more than many of the organizations and the fathers that we serve, because they are the ones that have custody and have the responsibility of sharing parenting with fathers. But I'm starting to learn over time that there isn't a lot of work being done to really support mothers and really truly understanding what a father's role is.
Because they never had to.
Yeah.
They never had to, because if it's they are the gatekeeper in most cases, right? In most cases, they are the gatekeepers, and they don't have to. In some cases, I'm not saying all, right? In some cases, they never really had to play fair, because the system has always mostly given them favor. And this is the thing is, sometimes fathers will come around and they say to me like, oh, I'm going for custody. I'm getting custody of my child. I'm like, bro, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not going to get custody. What you want is access. I wouldn't do it. So no judge is going to uproot a child who's been in a stable house for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, remove that child just because you come around now and I'm going to give you that child. That's not what you want. What you want is access. Yeah. What you want is to be able to be more involved and have rights for that child. Have a right to say what school they go to. You have a right to say if they can go here or go there. That's what you want. You want to have say-so, not necessarily you going in court trying to fight for custody. Right. For them to live with you, you fighting an uphill battle. So when I see stuff like this, bro, this is not a game to me, right? You know, it goes all viral and it's funny, it is that, but like this is the life that I live when I'm seeing these. Man, I'm watching this dude who just came into my program, right? Just came into the program, and he has a lot of work to do. He just got out of prison. A few years, not a few years ago, probably about 6, 7 months ago.
Okay.
And now probably about a year. But anyway, mom is incarcerated for a very violent crime. Their child together is living with a family member. Okay. My man want access. They refused to give him access. Why? Because he was incarcerated. And because he wasn't a great guy, because he sold dope and did other things, but that doesn't prevent him from being a good father.
Yeah.
And so he's in my class and he's like, yo, I want to get full custody. I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah, that's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
You living in a halfway house right now. You're not going to. What you need to do, you need to gain your baby's trust. Yeah. You need to, because her mom is not there anymore. You was incarcerated. Right now, what you need to be focusing on is establishing trust and building a relationship.
Yeah.
And so when I look at my man who is bringing this food, it sounds like he already have a relationship, but these are moments where you can get a dad to say, yo, I'm done. I'm out. I just deal with him when he's 18 years old.
Yeah. And we don't want that.
Absolutely not.
We don't want that. And I know from the heart of hearts, this mother doesn't want that either. Right? I think it's the same thing that we see when fathers don't swaddle the baby correctly, or the father doesn't hold the baby correctly, or the father goes to sleep with the baby in his arms and the baby looks a little slanted. There are these thoughts about, give me back my baby, take the baby from the father. Like it's it's constantly these things around, okay, you're not doing it right, so I'm going to take the baby from you. I'm going to take the child from you because you're not doing it right. And I think for some apparent reason, we think that men who become fathers, or boys who I'm working with who become fathers, know how to do it. And then when we chastise them or we belittle them for not doing it correctly, over time you stop doing it, right? And I think that we have to look at children a little bit differently when it comes to how the role that fathers play in the lives of kids.
Yo, look, speaking to what you're saying, Megan said again, she said, as a co-parent to an interracial child, I had to learn to understand how he parents, shows up, cultural differences. When he first started co-parenting, I was definitely guilty of that. Guilty of that too. Good point. Moms have to do work also, so as a child can still have a natural relationship with both parents. It's 50-50 and tons of compromising. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think as a society, we got away from truly parenting, right? Like, listen, it's difficult. Parenting is difficult. And that's one thing that nobody has to do. You don't have to take a class. You don't have to take a course when you are a first-time parent, right?
Yeah.
We are thrown into this. And sometimes people are thrust into parenthood. You know, they were doing adult things, but they was thrust into parenthood without any guidance. And so here we are responsible to raising this child to become a productive citizen.
Right.
And I think that we need to do better as a culture, as a society, as a people, as a nation. We need to do better when it comes to parenting. We don't talk about it enough. We don't do a lot of stuff surrounding morals and values and navigating. Like, bro, I'm learning every single day on how to be a responsible father. Like, what I did last week may not work this week.
Yeah.
My son was jacked up this past week. We went out and did some training, and I was hard on him. He got in the car. He was crying, all emotional. And I'm like, yo, I don't know how to handle this. Because the conversation we had a few weeks ago, because I want him to get this, I want him to get that. But at this moment, I'm like, yo, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yo, what do you need? I don't know what to give you right now, Levi. What do you need? And you know what he said to me?
What did he say?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's a beautiful answer.
And I'm like, I don't know either.
Yeah.
But you know what we're going to do? The key thing is that I was present, man.
Yeah.
To be able to help him navigate this, where it's safe for him to hear me say, I don't have the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think again, it goes back to this idea of the parent and the child relationship, and really understanding the key word in that is the relationship. And if I have a host of unhealthy relationships with peers, with coworkers, with my siblings, with my mother as an adult, it's going to be very difficult to manage and develop healthy mechanisms to be a healthy, involved parent to a child, especially if I've struggled over time with establishing healthy relationships. And so I think what I've had to learn as a father is that the relationship is really the key. It's not about me being above and my child being under, but us collectively finding a way to be in a relationship with each other and saying things like, I don't have the answer, but I'm here with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, going back to this concept of finding ways for us to belong to each other. And these are messages and these are teachings that aren't taught. So you don't necessarily know. But I've learned that it's really about cultivating a relationship. They're the relationship. So
George Grundy said, I would have found a food pantry and brought a box of food to relieve some of the stress of food concerns and hopefully create a better dialogue between me and the mother so I can have drama-free time with my child. You know what? That's real. Because if it was honestly, you know what, George, that's a really great point. Because if it was really about the food and her not having enough, because she did say that, listen, you know, I don't get my my stamps or my card until this day of the month, right?
Yeah.
So if it was really about the food, that's something he could have done only for, the sake of what you said, George, to have drama free from himself, right? Because it's still, I go back again, it's not his responsibility to take care of those other children. But where he's saying, how can I be the best co-parent that I can to keep a strong relationship with my child and my child's mother? Maybe that is a solution that he could have tried. And then that would have revealed, like, was it really about the food, or was she just really mad at him because the other father's not involved? We don't know if the other fathers are involved or not. But again, I don't agree that it's his responsibility. My other point is that I think that he could have been considerate of the decisions that he is making, considering the other children, when he's doing it and how he's doing it. He did give an alternative and say, hey, bring them outside and let's do it in the car. Well, the other kids know that, like, hey, daddy coming in, get you and give you the food outside and looking through the window. I don't know, but I just say that he can have been considerate. I think that she need to do some work. I think she need to do some work on putting herself in a better position so she doesn't have to feel that way.
Yeah. I hope, for the sake of their children, that they all find a way to work through that. And I just hate that it had to go viral in order for it to be, again, another conversation that we talk about. But again, these are real issues that people are facing every single day.
And you're right. I mean, somebody just said that might have been the only money that he had. I get it, man.
Yeah.
And I think Cole and I have agreed that that's not his responsibility. But I always try to see both sides of the situation. Yeah. Right?
And consideration is a must.
I just say, just be considerate, right? I mean, I don't have to cower down or, have that false humility just because I'm doing well when I come around you. I don't have to dress a certain way or drive a certain car. No, I don't have to do that, but I can still be considerate, right? Yeah. If I'm coming around, if I notice somebody's struggling in this area, I don't have to have a certain type of conversation in your presence, knowing that it may trigger you or make you feel some type of way. I can do it, but is it
right?
But is it healthy? This is a lot, guys. This is a lot, and I tell you, man, this is why I do the work that I do, and the work that Cole does, is because this is the stuff that go on all the time behind the scenes, and on both ends. But we mostly work with dads, and I'm not saying for all of my dads that I work with, but a lot of the dads that I work with, this is the narrative, right? This is the narrative of what they are fighting as an uphill battle. And we just teach them mechanisms on how to be the best version of themselves. And we encourage them, man, to fight that fight. Because one of the questions that we always ask them in the beginning of the classes is, what are you willing to sacrifice, and what are you willing to sacrifice, and how far are you willing to go? Because we may ask you and put a demand on you to go through the fire just to get access to your child. She may throw your McDonald's. Are you willing for her to throw your McDonald's away for you to gain access to your child? Are you willing to fight? Because a lot of times, and I'm going to just keep it 100, man, especially deal with us men, man, is a lot of times it's easy for men to run away. It's easy for men to run away and just say, you know what, F it, I'll see you later. Because I don't want to argue. I don't want to do this. But I'm like, yo, that's not what we doing today. That's not what we doing today. That's not what we do. You're going to wrestle. You're going to wrestle to be the father that your children need you to be. You take classes, you get therapy, whatever it is, but you need to be willing to wrestle because your kids didn't ask you to come here, man. So what? She threw your McDonald's away. Are you going to show up tomorrow? Are you going to show up the next day? Yeah, she put you on social media. She blew your back out. Are you going to run away now? Kids don't care about that. Yeah, I'm on one. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the ego, man. And the ego has a way of showing its face. So I think at the end of the day, we have to go back to what we always talk about. How do we make sure children are first? How do we make sure we're showing up for children? But in addition to that, to be able to show up for children, we've got to be able to show up for ourselves and our own wombs and do the work. So
Diana English said it was a good conversation starter. It sounds like that it was scripted, that she's a TikToker. And you know what? And I hope it is. I hope it was false. But I think what it did, like you said, Miss English, it sparked a conversation. Because this is what I deal with all the time that's not on TikTok.
Yeah.
Where something need to be done. Where we need to get better at co-parenting. Yeah.
Do it. Yeah.
Yo, I'm out. I'm emotional. I'm emotional. Yeah. I got to get on this road, man. Go see my family in Jersey. Man, I love you guys supporting us, rocking with us, man. We're going to keep on doing what we do. Appreciate you guys rocking with us. Grow with us. Continue to pray for us. The work that we do is not easy, man, especially working with grown amen. You know what I mean?
You work with grown men. I work with adolescents. It's a whole nother ball game.
Yep. You're right, Miss English. She said men deal with that every day. Yep, you're right, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So listen.
Legit I'm out.
I'm out. I'm too drained to do a legit or not legit. All right, legit or not legit. Is it legit or not legit for a man to wear a hairpiece? Like to get, what do you call those things?
They're like a man unit. That's what they call it. A man
unit. Is it legit or not legit for men to wear a man unit? Thank you very much for safe travels. I appreciate it. Thank you. Is it so? You say is it legit or not legit, Cole? Y'all tell me, is it legit or not legit?
I think it's legit.
Is it legit for him to wear a man unit?
Yeah, if he wants to wear a man unit, so it boosts his self-esteem, and throw him a man unit on and give him a man ponytail, let him do what he do.
I say not legit. Okay. I say not legit.
How so?
I say not legit.
How? Why is that not legit?
I'm just not ready for it. I'm just not ready for it.
You're not ready.
I'm not.
But you don't got to wear one.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. It's not legit. I ain't going to kick his back in. You know what I mean?
We're not doing this, man. All right, y'all. It was great. Don, like always, brother, I appreciate you. I love you. Safe travels, brother. Yeah, we going to say out.
Yep. I'll see y'all next week.